Hello everyone, it's Leon here and I am with Dave.
Hello.
And we're just looking at some of the new GTA screenshots that came out this week. Just out of the blue, a whole load of new stuff appeared. There's some interesting kind of bits and pieces in there that we'll look at. Boats, obviously, we've done before. There's a lot of kind of mission-based stuff coming out. This is obviously one of the heists. That looks like Michael there under the mask. Now I'm guessing that this is going to be one of the sort of... You can choose how you do the heist, can't you? Depending on who you hire and how you plan it. I'm guessing this is one that has been chosen to be done loudly. I wonder if any of that will be controlled by Rockstar, whether you have to do a messy one or whether it's your choice that...
I'd imagine, certainly early doors, I'd imagine there'd be a lot of scripting just to kind of get you up to speed on, here's a big explosive heist, here's a little more quiet heist, you know. But I think certainly some of the heists will be, you really be up to you in terms of the tactics you deploy, which will then be largely dependent on who you hire. So we now know that you can hire crew members who all have different attributes. Some are good at, like, say, hacking the computer systems, others are like specifically good at being a wheelman for a getaway. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the heist play out in the story.
And I guess they will have to, like you said, they'll have to lead you into it, because it sounds like it's going to be quite a complicated system. In the trailer you saw, the last trailer had that notice board where you had the sort of the different elements of the heist on it. And I wonder if that will be dynamic, where that will almost be your hub for the mission, and each time you come back to the notice board it'll have the different people you've hired, the plan you're going to take.
I mean, traditionally GTAs have always, in the first 3 or 4 hours, have always just been teaching here the mechanics, here how the world works. It could be a lot longer in GTA 5 just because it looks like there's so much to learn. So
and this stunt plane looks like it could be a challenge thing in its own right.
Navigating around the wind turbines. It
could be quite a good laugh. Obviously got Franklin here. It's got a bit of, this really does have a kind of San Andreas kind of vibe to it, doesn't it? That whole where do you live again? The Groves?
Grove Street.
Grove Street, yeah. And I'm wondering as well, we're seeing a lot of these screens, we'll see the characters wearing different clothes, and I wonder how much of that is tied to the narrative, how much of that is tied towards tied to the customization system. I think there's a shot in a moment. We've got Trevor again wearing a different outfit. We've seen that crash helmet before. I'm wondering if that's his or whether that's something that you choose to have. There is somewhere, I was just trying to find it. There's a picture of...
on that bike, it looked like a Sprunk. It looked like a... I'm not sure, like Sprunk. Yeah, Sprunk is the, obviously the fictional drink in GTA that looks like it could be sponsored by Sprunk.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, well, we've seen a lot of stuff coming back. We'll see in a moment. There's Love Fist, there's Ammunition, gets a mention. So all the...
Because Ammunition wasn't actually in GTA 4, they were just nondescript little shooting kind of back,
and we'll see in a little while
underground stores.
Ammunition. It's a gun club, but we'll get to that in a moment. Just a lovely vista.
Now, is that Mount Chiliad in the background?
I think so. I think Mount Chiliad is kind of the biggest thing in the area. It was in San Andreas, wasn't it? It was the only thing you could see sort of from everywhere. So I guess getting up to that, it'd be interesting to see how they do it, because it does look quite unfriendly.
I suppose if you fly, the easiest way would be to fly off the top and then parachute on the summit. Wouldn't it? I wonder, it'll be interesting to see how far the draw distance stretches, whether if you climb to the very peak, whether you'll be able to look out over, if you can see Los Santos in the distance. Or
we've seen shots in the past, haven't you? From the Griffin Observatory, or whatever, the observatory, what it's called in San Andreas. You can see across the whole town. But here, I mean, there is atmospheric fogging, which is kind of realistic.
Because I know Red Dead was San Diego rather than north, but the kind of expanse of terrain you could look over in Red Dead was incredible, especially in the opening New Austin.
One thing I've noticed here that I think is quite sort of fascinating is the sort of the translucency as you sort of look through the water there, the fact that you can see the sand actually...
Because they actually do have something to show off now, don't they? Because it is a fully rendered seabed, so...
but it's the fact that you can actually see the sand through the water. There's a translucency. There's a density to the water rather than it just being a...
It'll be interesting to see if they're actually proper underwater missions, because certainly, I think it'll be fair to say there's probably going to be side missions, because we've seen the scuba diving stuff. I think it'll be interesting to see if they're actually proper story missions that maybe require you to infiltrations on boats or things like that.
There's going to have to be. They've shown off so much of the scuba diving and the little mini sub that it's going to be weird if that's one mission, half an hour and it's gone. We've just got Michael looking cool, basically.
It's first time I think we've seen a grenade launcher, by the looks of it.
Which featured quite heavily in, was it?
Ballad of Gay Tony.
Ballad of Gay Tony, yeah. I'm guessing this will be one mission you just have to play loud. I can't see any reason.
That's incredibly reminiscent of a GTA 4 shot where Nico was standing in a suit in front of a burning 4x4, like all these plumes of smoke, like with a rocket launcher.
I think that's just it's a standard thing for GTA, isn't it? Man looking cool in front of thing on fire, because that's basically what everyone does for the first for most of the game. We've seen obviously been seeing a lot of car stuff, a lot of racing. We don't know yet quite what.
Can we make out what the name of that car is?
Let's look.
Something GD.
I can't tell. There's so many variations of cars in the game. It looks a bit. Somebody right now is screaming the name of that car and getting so annoyed that we don't know what it is.
We're sorry.
But you can see how the racing does pan out in this, because obviously you can see that's got roll bars, race stripes. That's clearly a race-ready car, but that's basically Franklin's kind of specialty, and he has that special power that slows down time when he's driving. So whether you only access it during his sort of when you're controlling him, or whether you'll do it as other characters, because we do see a lot of Trevor on quads and racing around, but he mostly seems to be escaping stuff.
Of course, CVG, or Sister Site, recently had that interview with Rockstar North where they actually, I think it was the lead gameplay director, talked about there are like over 1,000 different ways you can customise cars. Like there's 1,000 different customised parts, and then for some missions you can even customise like the roll cage and give them like bulletproof tyres to make heists easier. So that'll be really interesting.
Yeah. You were talking about draw distance earlier. I mean, you can see how far you can see at a distance there.
I didn't realise there was a big Gold Gate S bridge in LA. Is there? I suppose there must be.
There is. I can't remember now. Yeah, I know what you mean. It does look a bit like sort of San Fran, doesn't it, over there?
Because of course, Rockstar's taken San Francisco with San Fierro in San Andreas.
Well, have they clarified exactly how big this is yet? Because is it just Los Santos?
I think it's just Los Santos, I think there's only one proper city. I mean, it'd be a big surprise if they suddenly chucked in Las Venturas and San Diego.
This is interesting in that obviously the plane is on fire, which is hard to miss, but it makes me think it's obviously got to be some kind of mission based.
Yeah, and certainly we talked about earlier, but the Ballad of Gay Tony had a mission where you had to infiltrate a plane, basically kill the pilot. I think you were essentially kidnapping like a blogger who was saying like horrible things about one of the people you were doing a mission for. You had to kidnap him, kind of blow the back out the back of the plane, and then essentially escape the plane with him in tow and then parachute out.
This has a feel of a mission that has mission complete once you parachute out the door, doesn't it? This is what I was looking for earlier. This is the first time we've seen Love Fist. That's the old Love Fist art from GTA
Vice
3
City,
on Vice City, yeah. And I'm guessing this is one of the customizable T-shirts you can get. We can see a tattoo there, which I think Trevor's always had, but he's featured in some of the shots showing the tattoo customization, the sort of stuff you can.
That tattoo is so dark. But it's strange because I remember Dan Houser came out and said, don't expect to see any of the PS2 characters appear in the HD games because they're different universes. But clearly there's some sort of cross pollination because Love Fist obviously was a known entity in Vice City. In fact, they actually appear in a mission in Vice City where you have to limo them between gigs with Vercetti. So,
but I mean, they are sort of a part of GTA in the same way the cars and the planes are, rather than characters. They're a part of the substance. And obviously, you can see in the background here we're at some kind of strip club, and Trevor does look quite happy to be there. Now this looks like is it Cargo Boy? I forgot what it's called now. But
isn't it like an Apache helicopter?
Well, it's a big. There is a cargo chopper in GTA. I think it's called a Cargo Boy, but it's like a Chinook type thing.
You're right, because in San Andreas, it's one of the missions in the lead up to the big casino heist, where it could be a big helicopter like this, where you've got airlift like trucks in preparation for the mission.
Yeah,
so.
It'd be interesting to see who's chasing who there, because you can't quite make out who that guy is.
Oh, that's Trevor.
You reckon that's Trevor?
Yeah, you can see the balding head and like the white t-shirt.
That is true, actually. Yeah, and then obviously someone making chase over there.
But also, I mean, it'll be quite exciting to return to roll an emphasis on aerial missions again, because the airspace around Liberty City, even in GTA 4, wasn't particularly sprawling. So there wasn't much scope for aerial missions. So.
I think something that's interesting here is they are showing quite a large kind of spread between on foot, on car, in planes. It feels like there's, from the screenshots alone, there's a good balance of variety, which, as you say, GTA 4 wasn't quite so varied. Now this we saw in the gameplay trailer. This is some kind of I guess maybe a gang conflict where Trevor is cleaning out an area. Now, there's a video that I saw recently that did you see the Max Payne comparison? So they basically lifted the Max Payne combat model wholesale. So when you're seeing them move around like they're shooting, taking cover, switching shoulders, even the weapons wheel, they basically used Max Payne or Max Payne 3, I should say, as a kind of paid-for combat test, like a combat demo.
It's definitely a good game to base it on, because for all Max 3's problems with pacing, mechanically it's probably the strongest cover shooter on PS3, even more so than the Uncharted games, just on a mechanical level, because it's so physics-based. It's got a lovely kind of heft behind it.
And the video it's lifted like note for note. It's quite interesting to see how close it is.
What's interesting also this screenshot is it's amazing how much of an almost like a survival horror vibe it has, because it's interesting, because I think one of the upgradable parameters that each character has is like stealth or sneaking, which suggests there could be like these nighttime missions which require you to like infiltrate a base or like a hideout and like take enemies out silently. Not that shooting someone in the face with a shotgun silent, but it's certainly a very different mood and tone than we've seen before. And
he's got that torch, is clipped on the weapon. So whether that's like a customization,
I think it will be.
Could be like one of the scripted things. They give you a special weapon to do like a nighttime mission.
I certainly go, because there is weapon customization in there as well, which is quite exciting. Because San Andreas very briefly did kind of trifle about with stelt missions, but they were really basic.
Well, in that kind of old PS2 stealth style, wasn't it? Where it just went wrong straight away.
You couldn't stick to cover, you couldn't really peek around corners, so just kind of crouch with a knife.
And it's interesting as well. See, that's clearly a bit of Euphoria kind of physics, kind of animation there. You can just see by the way he's thrown his arm out and the way he's
saying that, Rockstar games have been heavily influenced by that since their table tennis game. Even GTA 4 had, was very physics based.
Well, they used the Euphoria engine in GTA 4, and it is good because it's like it just adds a bit more life to it, a bit more unpredictability, and the way the characters react to you feels more organic. There's great videos, wasn't there? Pushing Nico pushing people downstairs. But I guess they'll have refined it now. It'll be even more realistic and give a more realistic finish, I guess. I've got a bit more of Franklin here. Now, I'm guessing and Chop in the background. Yeah, his dog. I'm guessing this must be like a part way through the game, because he starts off in where's it? The Groves, was it?
Grove Street.
Grove Street. Yeah. This looks like either he's taken a time out from meeting Michael or someone more well off, or this is him sort of ascending the kind of the social status slightly.
This is such a geeky thing to insert here, but it's this apartment with the decking. It's incredibly reminiscent of a Flat in Heat, where Robert De Niro and the woman he starts dating basically look out over all of LA at night, and you'd think from here that decking, this looks like it's up near the Hollywood sign, or I can't remember what the Hollywood sign, the Vinewood sign in Los Angeles. So you'd probably be able to get a great view of the entire city from there.
Yeah, it's interesting looking at.
Also, you can also enter the property market as well with all your money. So you can you might have your choices of properties to buy over there.
Actually, noticed like Chop there. I've just seen in the background, just behind his arm. I was trying to work out what that stuff is on the floor, but it's suntan lotion, isn't it? By the sunbed.
That's a good spot.
And you can see as well, if I can just find the kitchen. There we go. You've got some bottles of wine. It's nice, sort of little bits of detail in the background. And then now this feels like it should be from a movie somewhere.
Yeah, I mean that's so Heat, like that massive downtown shooter. Like,
I do remember I can't remember the name. A journalist did describe GTA as a slightly confused troll through the house's DVD back catalogue.
Yeah. I mean, even look at Michael's design. He's very reminiscent of De Niro. Like, he's got like that kind of little spot by his eye and the hairline and the kind of dress sense.
It's even his build as well. He's clearly not quite. He's not muscly or toned, but he's still kind of sort of powerful and doesn't look quite overweight.
I do love the idea of just playing a middle-aged character.
Yeah, well,
two middle-aged characters.
Well, they are interesting. None of them really are the usual characters. You've got a middle-aged character, you've got a crazy bald guy, and a black guy. And there's not many kind of ethnic kind of leading characters really.
I mean, it's kind of shameful that I think CJ was the first ever like lead black protagonist in a video game.
You had Shadow Man, but I mean,
a realistic portrayal of a human being.
I think it's really interesting that they have gone for sort of stereotype kind of characters. Normally, traditionally, games don't have these characters because they get sort of booted out kind of prototyping stage where they go, oh no, we've got to have this kind of character. This is what sells.
I mean, even GTA 4 was really doing that. I mean, who before or since has touched the subject of immigration in games? Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I'd be interested to see as well with this screenshot whether that's a customization choice on Franklin's, on Trevor's part, or whether you've been caught in some way.
I could see that being caught because I know certain demos that Rockstar have shown off where you start off with like Trevor's on the beach just in his pants and
he's woken up
surrounded by like lost members, so it could well that's the bicycle gang, that could well be another instance where you kind of wake up in trouble.
It'd be interesting to see as well how that plan plays out, because you do get a different kind of, each character has a different personality, and obviously you get a different kind of gameplay with it. So Michael is kind of considered and sort of trying to get some order out of things. Franklin is very ambitious and trying to get things, and Trevor is kind of just whatever the hell happens. This is
the Dignity.
It's oh god, what is it? It's a band reference. The name's just totally gone out of me now. It's I've forgotten. It's a reference to a song from the 80s. Annoyingly has just escaped me. And
there'll be someone again screaming at us.
Oh god, it's Scritti Politti or something like that, or it's one of those kind of bands. Anyway, but yes, I guess it's a ship. It's a weird shape. I'm just wondering if it's like the angle we're looking at it.
I think it's more like it's also a vessel used for like deep sea diving. It's probably got like nautical equipment to.
Well, this is the interesting thing here. Is obviously
scan the seabed or something like that.
We got Michael or Trevor or someone getting on in scuba gear. So it could be that scuba gear is actually like a possible heist method.
It might be a case you need that specific vessel to actually get the scuba gear.
But it's clearly that you could be using scuba gear because you want to, not because you necessarily have to. More boats again, and possibly that's Chiliad, I guess, in the background. I mean, it does look like an absolute bugger to climb. How maybe air is going to be the only way to get
there'll
up
be
there.
some insane YouTube videos of like someone
people
managing to get a car up there.
Biking up there, or getting up there in a golf buggy.
I'm going to try that.
This is interesting.
Now, hopefully that's not a suicide attempt.
Well, no, he's base jumping, isn't he?
Yeah,
because I've seen this bridge in a trailer, in the gameplay trailer. You see a car chase on here, and obviously this is whether that's something the player's done or whether it's just scripted. That's how you get away at that moment.
You can see it looks like the red car, which is also when the getaway vehicles just started going fire, which is probably why they've had to fling themselves off the bridge. But
this surrounding terrain as well does look like the opening when Ben went to see GTA 5 a while back. It started with Franklin parachuting into a canyon and you sort of watching him as he goes down. So this looks like this is where Rockstar have started demos in the past. Good old Michael. It's quite cool.
And no, this is interesting. Just a quick look at the headphones. So one of the cut features from GTA 4, which was cut right at the 11th hour, which was quite sad it didn't make it in the final game, was originally you're going to be able to listen to all the radio stations on foot. So you're going to have like GTA's version of an iPod. So it could be possible that features in GTA 5, and then you can listen to all the music as you go. Because I know one of the early pieces of concept art with the woman on the beach giving the V sign was like the Apple phone. So that could be interesting. You could listen to music between missions.
To be honest, it's interesting as well that it's so close to Apple's kind of design that it's almost kind of like dangerously close to getting them in trouble. And there we go. Ammunition. Now it's a gun club rather than a gun store, but it'd be interesting to see if that means they've been sort of reinvented. Because
we've seen, in the gameplay trailer we actually do see a gun range, like Trevor's firing on a gun range, so that's probably one of the ways you can upgrade your accuracy stats, but just by going to the gun range and improving. I think that might have been in Vice City Stories, the PSP game. I think they had gun ranges.
It's interesting as well, looking up at these two billboards here, like with it's kind of weird, like a George Burns kind of character with the cigar and some kind of God knows what that.
Fame or shame.
That looks like one of those old medieval trumpets being played on the one on the left. I wonder if this will be, because we've seen a couple of characters that resemble the. Do you remember the Space Marine characters in GTA 4 on TV? So we've seen a couple of characters on TV, people dressed up as those characters in the streets. I'm wondering if these are going to be more sort of personalities. Maybe there's going to be a more in-depth kind of TV channel.
I think I think we should certainly expect to see celebrities, not real life celebrities, but the universe's take on Los Santos celebrities that you'll probably be helping out at some point.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where that goes. More cars, another car chase by the looks of things.
It's a proper Thelma and Louise moment now.
And there's Michael and Trevor enjoying a beautiful moment. Is that Trevor? He looks a bit fat.
Yeah, I was thinking that. What? It's Michael looks a bit fat.
Sorry, Michael. Yeah, Michael looks a bit overweight.
Yeah, it's probably just the angle.
Just a weird angle. Yeah, it looks like again like he's wearing maybe scuba gear, ready to go and do some kind of water-based mission. Now this is the FIB mission that we've seen, and it's the one they've shown off the most, which is where he has to smash into the building.
Now this is slightly confusing, isn't it? Because you're working for the FIB, but you're kidnapping a CIA operative.
No, I think you're working for the CIA, whatever the CIA one is, and you're kidnapping an FIB.
It's some variation.
It's basically whatever the two organisations are. You're working for one and stealing another guy. So this is the one where you, Franklin is in a building over on the other side somewhere, and you can at a certain point you can switch to him and snipe cover, or you can stay as Michael and shoot people basically right up close and personal. But you smash into the window, you grab this guy, and then you do that kind of Batman style air extraction where you take off, and I'm guessing it doesn't end well for the witness. But yes, one of the first times they showed off the character swapping thing, where at certain points of the mission you choose who you want to play as, and then that defines the gameplay until the next choice, and you're locked in those cases. But in most other instances outside of the gameplay, you can play as whoever you want and just jump whenever you fancy it.
Here's Love Fist again.
Love Fist t-shirt again.
Now that looks like a kind of Blaine County sheriff, I guess. That looks like a sheriff uniform in the background.
That's definitely not your sort of normal policeman. It's interesting they got the sort of the Uncharted kind of rain sort of tech, things look wet. And the fact he's wearing that t-shirt again, I'm wondering if he's on the run from that club we saw him in earlier, whether or not there's been any kind of he was there for a mission, something's happened. Well, clearly, as if this is Blaine County, it does look like there's boats and sort of some kind of dock or something in the background over there.
I'm not sure if that was decking or something.
It looks. I suppose it could be a bar. It just looks like a boat, but I don't think Blaine County is near any sort of water.
No, it's quite arid, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, more bikes. I'm guessing that looks like Franklin. Yeah. And is whether or not that's like a dirt track or not, it just might be a bump in the road. Franklin doing his best to look cool. And here we've got more car customization. We've obviously got decals, we've got some kind of chrome bumper thing.
I think Nitrous will be making a return, which was also in San Andreas.
Exhaust, what's that?
And also, like you could have your
Sabre.
I really hope that the kind of low riders of San Andreas return, where you could fiddle with the chassis. So you could, I think, if you press down on one of the sticks, your car like bounce up and down, which would be. I'd like to see that return.
I wonder as well if you're going to get different kinds of customization in different kinds of areas, because obviously Blaine County is a very sort of underprivileged, low income area. This auto repair shop doesn't look great quality, and I wonder if you'll get these kind of grunty muscle cars there, whereas if you go to say where Michael would get his stuff upgraded, it'll be more about performance and sort of show cars.
I mean certainly GTA has a history of like certain areas being more expensive than others. So if you look at GTA 4, when you start off at Hove Beach, you can shop in a little Russian shop and like you can buy a beanie hat for like $10, and then you go to Algonquin and you buy a base scope, a cap, and it's like $70. So
yeah, you get what you pay for, and again you'll get different kinds of experience and content depending on which character you choose to sort of play as. And that brings us to the end. So yeah, let us know if you've got any questions, anything you want answered. Stick it in the comments and we'll get back to you. And I'll stick a link up to the content we've got on the website where you can find out loads more information. Ben, our editor's been to see the game a couple of times, so there's a few bits and pieces like that. But yeah, any comments? And we'll speak to you guys later.
Cheers.